Welcome to everyone that's on the call and to those who are going to be sent out the recording afterwards. Liam and I will sort of go through the tour to Florida in a little bit of detail. We'll talk about sort of potential itinerary timelines, a little bit about the National Hockey Festival, which we have now officially entered as the Red Lions again for the third year. And then if anyone's got any questions while we're on the call, just yeah, unmute yourself and ask as we go, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end if anyone's got any questions. Yeah. So so in terms of just why USSS tours, we've got over sort of 10 years of tour experience. Over 1,000 players have come on tours across our different sports, be that track and field, rugby, soccer, and field hockey. Um, yeah, over 100 network of professional coaches and over 50 members of Team USSS. So yeah, as we sort of mentioned, over 10 years of experience. You can find us on Trustpilot as well, where you'll be able to have a look through some of the reviews in terms of our scholarship service, but also our lots of sort of tour reviews on there for the different sports, including last year's Florida Hockey Tour. Some of the previous tour destinations on there. So Florida tends to be the go-to venue for our hockey tours just because of the National Hockey Festival, which I'll talk through a little bit later on. But you can see, yeah, Vegas, New York, Miami, yeah, some of the biggest cities in America as well as Europe as well.
I was just going to
Um,
add to that as well, Rob. In terms of like atoll protection, so we are a registered sports tour operator, so everything is all protected regardless of what could happen. Obviously, hopefully nothing like COVID happens again. And then we are PTS, so protected trust. So all of the money that you pay for the tour is put into a trust and protected. So yeah, all of the kind of fun process stuff there is ticked off as well.
Yep, and yeah, in terms of the last couple of years on the tour, so it's been a really key recruitment opportunity, which is naturally why most of our athletes will go on this trip. There's the National Hockey Festival in general, which I'll touch on a little bit later on, is probably the biggest recruiting opportunity for American athletes to get recruited. So, yeah, loads of coach exposure, and over the last couple of years, we've had yeah, probably upwards of 10 athletes that have gone on to commit to programs where they were first seen competing on this tour.
And on that one, Rob, but all of them have been NCAA Division One schools as well.
All of them would have been Division One, yeah.
Cool.
But there are coach representation across all three NCAA divisions at this tournament. So that's not to say that if you're looking at Division Two and Three schools, you won't get exposure. There's loads of coach representation there as well. All of our touring staff will have played and coached at the highest levels, whether that's in the States or in Europe. Yeah, and we'll be sort of coaching you as we go, so that's super important. So some of our touring team, I'll be leading the tour alongside one other member of staff, whether that's Katie, who works with us on the hockey side, Hannah as well, who's plays out in Holland, and Olivia, who's not on this screen, but she ran last year and played out in North America in her student athlete career as well. So yeah, you'll be well covered no matter who joins me. So as I mentioned, yeah, the sort of Trustpilot reviews, here's just a handful from the girls that attended the Florida tour last year. As I said, you can go on to Trustpilot and have a look through yourself. But yeah, that was just a handful of the reviews from the girls that went last year. We'll play a short video. So this isn't last year, this is 2024. We were lucky enough to have one of the players on the tour's mum, who was a photographer, and was very good of her to come and bring her camera and take lots of photos for us. So we got loads of content. Um, so this will just give you a little bit of a feel for what the tournament sort of looks like. Lots of match photos and some off-pitch activities as well.
Have you got the audio on your end, mate?
Yeah.
It's not playing, it doesn't matter though, but just to let you know. While that is playing, as you can see, all the girls wearing the uniform, they've got their names and the number on the back. That's just really helpful for Rob and the team from a recruitment perspective as well, for coaches to be able to identify players. As you can see there, Rob chatting to a coach.
Yeah, so apologies if the audio didn't come through there. It was just backing music. But yeah, it gives you a sort of sense of yeah, facilities as well as some of the off-pitch activities that we did in terms of campus visits, beach. It's a lovely part of Florida, Naples with some yeah, gorgeous beaches and so much to do outside of the hockey for a little bit of downtime and just getting a feel for what student athlete life looks like, what the campus looks like, which we'll touch on as well for the college visit. So yeah, touched on some of this already in terms of why we choose to go out to Florida and why the National Hockey Festival. Probably the easiest way of thinking about it, if you are based in England, is the Talent Academy Festival. So this is the American equivalent where lots of club teams all across America come to play in this event. There's about 13 pitches where there's games going on across all pitches at the same time. And that's the US players' opportunity to be seen by college coaches and recruited for Division One, Division Two, Division Three. So a lot of the teams that we're playing against, you're playing against top American recruits that are heading out, or a lot of whom are already committed, some who will be committing shortly to top Division One and Two programs. So it's a real nice way to sort of give yourself a little bit of a comparison to what your American equivalents of the same age, what they're bringing to the table, what the style of hockey's like. Um, and for the coaches, it's a really nice opportunity for them to be able to see a direct comparison between the international athletes and the American athletes, where they have a much better context to what that level is like. Sometimes when coaches are watching footage of you playing here, they don't have that same context to what the level is like, what the team you're playing against is like. Whereas here, they know exactly what that sort of level looks like. So it can provide a really good sort of recruitment opportunity.
Rob, a couple of questions for me on that one, mate. The first one was, what's like the age range of players then that are playing in that tournament?
So we enter the under 19 tournament. There is an under 16 tournament as well, but we'll enter the under 19 because it's a bit of a stronger tournament, and therefore you tend to get a lot more coaches at each of the games.
Yeah.
And we're usually in the sort of top bracket of that. So we'll enter the sort of top bracket, which is playing against the best club teams. And again, the main purpose of that, even though that we're not a team that have played lots together like some of these teams, and so it can be some really tough games, but it does give us the sort of best exposure to coaches. So our teams have sort of been ranged from age 15 to 18, approximately, with most being sort of 16, 17.
And the last one, mate, in terms of like with the facilities and the pitch, what like pitch type is it compared to the UK?
Yeah, so that is something to bear in mind. So because they need a venue where they have 12, 13 pitches, they use a venue where they tend to play different sports on. So the surface is like a little bit more of that sort of 2G, 3G surface where you would play sort of football on, lacrosse on. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. The ball doesn't quite roll as freely. And that's not just American pitches in general. In Division One, the vast majority of pitches will be your very high quality water-based pitches. But for this tournament in particular, yeah, the surface is a little bit thicker and it does take us a little bit of getting used to, which is why we'll try and have a training session at the venue the day before the tournament just to give us a little bit of a feel for each other as well as a feel for the pitch. But yeah, the last couple of years, the girls have adapted super well, and it has taken maybe a game or a game and a half just to get used to the subtle differences in how your skills transfer over. And a lot of these American kids have come up through the high school system are used to playing in multi sort of sport pitches. So Yeah, it does take a little bit of time to adapt, but yeah, it's not caused us too many issues.
And Rob, will we have a training session in the UK before we go out?
Yeah, so the last couple of years, what we've done is we've hosted a kind of like a trial event that we'll have to help with numbers because usually not all of the girls going to Florida are going to be able to make the same date because we're coming from all across the UK. But we will try and have a sort of central event where we let everyone know the dates and times, and it's a chance for the girls to meet each other a little bit, as well as having a sort of another call like this a little bit closer to the time so that we can sort of introduce everyone to each other. But the plan is to have a sort of a session slash event before we go. But naturally, not everyone will end up being able to be there, but that is the plan. And then we'll have a session once we arrive as well. So example itinerary, the reason it's example, it's not 100%, is we still need to sort of work out exact travel days and times, which will depend on our tournament fixtures, which we don't have yet. But the tournament dates are confirmed. So the tournament itself will run from the 26th to the 28th, which is the Thursday to Saturday. So the plan would be to fly on the Tuesday, depending on flights. Then we have the Wednesday to train, get to the pitch, get a feel for the facilities, as well as potentially do the Gulf Coast visit, and a bit of sightseeing. Then days 3 to 5 are the tournament itself. So we'll have two games on the Thursday, two games on the Friday, and one game on the Saturday. And the format of those games is 25-minute halves. So it'll be 50 minutes per game, and you'll have two games a day apart from the Saturday where we'll just have our one final pool game. And it's a sort of round robin format. So the winners at the end will be the team with the most points across their fixtures. And there's a bit of a prize giving ceremony at the end with medals, etc. So usually we would look to then fly out on the Saturday evening. If we have a later fixture on the Saturday, which is possible, they usually do try and accommodate us because they know that we're traveling. Then we might not be able to fly until the Sunday. And if that's the case, then we would travel Wednesday to Sunday as opposed to Tuesday to Saturday. But yeah, we'll be able to confirm that hopefully quite soon. They're usually pretty good with getting the fixtures out. We are officially entered in the tournament now, so yeah, hopefully we'll get access to those soon. But that's kind of typically what those sort of 5, 6 days would look like.
And Rob, so that photo there, that's obviously an aerial view of the athletic facilities at Florida Gulf Coast. And I'm right in thinking they don't have a field hockey team, but
Yeah,
they obviously have a variety of sports that will be able to demonstrate to the athletes what it would be like to be a student athlete, and you get a chance to look around those.
yeah. So we'll also go to a college game of some kind. So you can sort of see. Can you see my cursor here?
Yeah.
So this building here is the basketball arena. So the last couple of years we've gone to a Division One women's basketball game, which has been really good and just cool to see sort of the level of support that college teams get out in the States compared to here. And the Gulf Coast facilities in general are fantastic. This is you can obviously see the tennis courts here. This is a beach volleyball section, some outdoor basketball courts, and then you've got a bit of student accommodation right on the sports campus site. You can see sort of baseball and softball in the background with soccer, full length outdoor swimming pool, diving area. So it's yeah, a super cool campus to be able to go and see and just give you a bit of a sense of what it could be like to go to a Division One or a Division Two university. So we won't just look around the sporting campus. We'll also get access to the main campus just to give a brief tour around to see what the accommodations like, what the sort of dining areas are like, the library, that sort of thing, just to yeah, give you a feel of what that sort of campus could look like at school.
And Rob, on that, sorry, so like fingers crossed, obviously there is a home fixture that you're able to see. There's just that element of luck that it lines up with the schedule, but obviously worst case scenario, they'll get a chance to look around the campus. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Cool.
if we can't get to a college game, then yeah, there's definitely other options. There's loads of sporting events going on in the area as well. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
In terms of accommodation, so we're unsure exactly which. So we've stayed in two different places in 2024 and 2025. Both have been really good to us. Last year we went to a hotel that was slightly closer to the airport, but slightly further away from the pitch. But yeah, worked out really well in terms of it being pretty close to the Gulf Coast. So it meant, yeah, that campus visit was super easy. They had an outdoor pool, which was nice in the heat, and super close to the beach. And then 2 years ago, yeah, we were in where you can see here, which is about 100 meters from Naples Beach. So uh, yeah, we're kind of our hands are tied a little bit in terms of accommodation. It's a stay to play tournament, so the tournament hosts each year give us a handful of hotels which teams have to stay at if they're competing. So we've not had that yet. I'm assuming both of the options that we've stayed at the last couple of years will be options again this year. So again, once that's confirmed, we'll be able to share that with you. But yeah, always try and get somewhere that's sort of equidistant between airport, pitch, and the Gulf Coast.
And Rob, am I right in thinking the last 2 years has been Thanksgiving as well?
Yeah, so the tournament always falls on Thanksgiving weekend, which is again quite a cool experience for the girls to be able to see. It's obviously a big deal in America. The A couple of years ago, the hotel put on a big Thanksgiving meal just for our team, which was really good of them because it can be near on impossible to get a booking for to eat out at that kind of time of year. So that was cool. And then last year we actually sat and had pizzas on the beach with the sunset, which wouldn't be your traditional Thanksgiving, but yeah, really nice way to sort of spend the evening. And yeah, lots going on in the town centre and that sort of thing around the Thanksgiving weekend. And just to mention on that Thanksgiving weekend as well, which some of you will probably be pleased to know is that it falls on Black Friday as well, which is the US is the sort of original home of Black Friday. So the last couple of years we have gone to the outlet malls on Black Friday, and yeah, the girls have loved some of the unbelievable deals you can get. Danny, who came with us on the tour a couple of years ago, probably bought more than anyone else and had a suitcase full of different merchandise to bring home for his kids. So
He does that every time. He pretty much brings an empty suitcase and comes back with a full one. But out of interest, Rob, what is it that the girls always obsessed with? Like when we do the Vegas ones, it's always crumble cookie. They want to get that when they're at the mall. Or in terms of eating, probably the Raisin Canes or things like that. Is there anything specific you found with the girls?
yeah, but all of those were big hits.
Yeah.
But then just like the sporting outlet shops as well,
Yeah.
they're big fans of, and they've got all of your big name brands, but the Black Friday sales are like
Yeah.
massively cut price. So there are massive queues outside the shop, which didn't seem to bother them too much. But yeah, definitely, I wasn't too interested in spending 40 minutes in a queue to Lululemon, so I'll sit and
Yeah.
have a coffee while I wait.
So fair.
Yeah, in terms of ESTAs and flights, so don't need to bring a paper copy of your ESTA. It'll just be attached to your passport. But yeah, if you want to bring evidence on your phone, then that helps as well. Yeah,
Obviously,
Google
with that as
Form.
well. Oh, sorry, I was going to say, Rob, obviously now it's on an app as well, isn't it? So
Yeah,
you have the app as well as so you don't need like a screenshot or anything. But like Rob said, we just took 90 kids to Vegas. Nobody needed to show anything because it's just attached to your passport electronically.
yeah. Yeah, we'll circulate Google Forms a bit nearer the time for additional information just for booking the flights. So Daniel will be doing that in the next couple of months. And yeah, obviously advise us on your citizen status, because yeah, there are differences depending on where you're citizens and what visas you need, as well as if we had a few girls last year who had dual citizenship with the States, and so they didn't need an ESTA at all, which saves you, well, £40, but also saves you hassle-free queue, which they were pleased to just breeze through on the other side.
And do you organise the ESTAs on our behalf, or do we need to organise that ourselves?
Yeah, you physically can't do it on behalf of people, so we can send you instructions for it. But like you have to put like personal information, and then it's on your physical phone as well. So you like
Okay.
would that you would download the app, but it's really super straightforward to do. We actually took a school, and long story short, one of the kids had decided to order a new passport, but this is actually a good point in that he'd mistakenly done his ESTA on his old passport. So if you have got a new passport between now and then, get your ESTA linked to your current new or your new passport. Otherwise, the ESTA won't work and you won't be allowed in. Because this kid had done that, we had to buy the ESTA or pay for the ESTA at the airport and then just keep refreshing it. It took an hour, which was quite stressful, but that's how quickly it can be done. It can be done in an hour, but definitely let's not be him being at the airport with his mum driving to the airport, stressing that his Esther's not going to come through. So definitely minimum 72 hours before flying, I would recommend doing it. But yeah, just a key point on that passport is if you're going to order a new passport, you need to make sure that the Esther is linked to that new one.
And just to be clear, we will be sending out all of
Yeah,
the information that you need to do. So don't worry about needing to remember everything just now. It'll be a clear
yeah.
checklist of things that we need you to complete in terms of, well, this slide as well in terms of what to wear, because we'll need to get sizes for kit, which we'll order. You'll have your own Red Lions playing top with your name in the back, travel kit. Yeah, it's really nice gear, which the girls, that's always their favorite bit of the airport is getting handed the bundle of kit. So that'll all be sorted. So there will be clear information on the things that you need to complete, whether that's the ESTA. There's things that you need to do in terms of the tournament registration as well. Every player needs to be registered with our Red Lions team, most of which I'll be able to do for you, but we will just need to get that information from you. So, yeah, that will all be sent out. Luggage allowance is usually 20 kilos. Yeah, as we as we said, if you do plan on buying some outlet mall items or even at the National Hockey Festival venue, there's a lot of vendors with yeah, different brands, different American hockey brands as well as uh yeah, different sort of apparel brands that are all sort of sponsored or the event sponsors them. So um yeah, if you are planning on indulging, then make sure you've got space so that you're not getting charged on the way back if you're overweight.
Sorry, the last one I saw in there as well, Rob, with the mobile phone, a lot of people get like an eSIM because it can work out a lot cheaper. Again, we can have discussions on this as we get closer to the time. Or like on my phone, I probably should get an eSIM, but on my phone, I think it works out like £4 a day, and then you just get unlimited while you're in the USA travel zone. But again, we can always help you with that. And then if you want to get a Monzo or a Revolt or one of these electronic cards, then you're not going to get charged for taking like payments as well.
Yeah, the phone one is important as well, actually, because a lot of our communication when we're out there, so we'll have a WhatsApp group with parents and players on there, for everything in the lead up to the tournament to make sure that everyone's sorted. But then when we're out there, so that parents' phones aren't buzzing at terrible times in the morning due to the time difference, we'll have a staff and players group that will communicate on throughout the tournament. So having that internet data is important so that when we're out and about, whether it's at the malls or at the pitch where we're congregating for meal times, etc., it is important that we can contact people. So yeah, definitely worth getting an eSIM of some kind. I've got a message here. But no worries, Imogen. As you say, we're recording it, so we'll be able to send you out after the game, after the call. Yeah, in terms of so you'll get 3 meals a day, so included in the cost, all of your meals will be covered. So it's just what you need or might want in terms of spending money. So everyone's obviously a little bit different. But if you want to get sort of extra snacks and drinks in your own time, then yeah, you'll need a little bit of spending money for that. As we mentioned, the outlet malls. Yeah, the sort of your tickets will be for the sports games, etc., will also be included in your cost. But yeah, more sort of excess spending money that you might need, depending on what you plan on buying. Yeah, so sort of just touched on that. So th there's your sort of included costs and then potential additional costs on top. along with the sort of kit costs as well. And then yeah, just in terms of sort of your popular, frequently asked questions, yeah, Liam sort of already touched on the atoll protected, so all payments are secure and protected. Yeah, we source the flights. Danny's ran a lot of tours, so he's got a lot of network in terms of sourcing the most cost-effective travel needs and group bookings. So we'll make sure that all of that is sorted on your behalf, and then we'll just communicate exactly where and when we're sort of flying from. Payment terms, yeah, every tour is sort of a little bit different, but typically we take the sort of £50 deposit to secure the tour, and then 50% balance 3 months before. I believe everyone so far has paid £250
Uh,
deposit.
yeah.
So Danny will be in touch with the sort of next installment of that as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, just to clarify, sorry, Rob, because you said £50 deposit originally. So yeah, it's
Oh, sorry.
£250 deposit, 50% of the remaining balance 6 months before we fly, and then the remaining 50% 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you will need to make your own travel arrangements to get to the airport. So we will fly from London Heathrow, usually. So in terms of getting yourself to that point, once you get to Heathrow Airport at the meeting point, then we'll take over everything from there. And also, if you are in Scotland, for example, or different parts of the UK, definitely just let us know. And it might be that there's other girls traveling from around you. Obviously, once we set up that WhatsApp, that'll be easy to track. And we can sort of try and arrange some lift shares or getting trains together, that sort of thing, which tended to work. We had a couple of girls sharing or getting the train down together from Edinburgh last year, and it just means that they're not sort of traveling on their own or needing a parent with them. Yeah, sort of touched on the other sports that we run. So hockey, golf, track and field, tennis, basketball, football. If you follow our social media pages, then yeah, you'll see a lot of that content just now as we're just, as Liam said, back from Vegas. And then yeah, what's next, Liam? Oregon tour?
Yeah, so we're taking 40 track and field athletes to Oregon, which I'm super excited about. Not done Oregon before. And at the same time, we're taking 70 soccer players to Seattle.
Nice. So yeah, that's us. If you do have any other questions, then we've got a little bit of time left where we can answer those just now. Otherwise, we'll send an email out with a bit of a summary, and then those that weren't on the call that needed the recording might have questions as well. And if that's the case, we'll make sure that we send a list of questions from those that weren't on the call out to everyone so that everyone gets the benefit of that.
Yeah, and I think just to add to this, like as I said, this is one of our definitely one of our best tours in terms of location, level of hockey, and actual outcomes in terms of girls going to colleges. And what we might not have mentioned was the timing of it's perfect because Rob, you have this, and then you have the showcase event in London shortly after. And I think we'd seen like in one of the slides like Tiana, who'd played in front of Ohio in Florida, and then came to England. Ohio were there, watched her, and then she's ended up signing and committing there. So, yes, it's a phenomenal experience. And if you've never played hockey in America before, it's going to deliver all that. But there's just so much more to it in terms of the experience of being in Florida, Thanksgiving, the shopping malls, the beaches, all of the fun stuff, but actually tangible outcomes in terms of college placement and scholarships as well. So, yeah, we're definitely really excited for it. It kind of seems close, but like for us, it does seem a little bit away. So there's still loads of time to, like Rob said, get to know each other girls on the team. Obviously, we're still recruiting for players as well. But yeah, obviously, Rob, you've done it a few years now. It's been thoroughly like enjoyable, and all the girls have absolutely loved it.
Yeah, perfect.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining and those of you watching online. And yeah, both myself and obviously Rob's your key point of contact. But any queries at all, we could do a 10-hour version of this because you could go into such granular detail on everything. But as I said, like finalized itineraries and everything that you'd ever need to know when traveling on tour, Rob and the team will be able to give to you as we lead up to it.